What's up, guys? DoorDash here, and I'm coming to you today with a video because I wanted to talk to you guys about a topic that I think needs to become the topic of 2023, and it ties in with the theme of this channel, and that is, the theme of this channel, as you know, is no value, no trip, period, end of story. If there's no value in an order, any of the apps, you decline it, you send it back. But I want to talk to you guys about a solution, and I'm going to tie it in with a video I recently did. In that video, well, two videos I recently did. One is the debate about no tip, no trip. That was between two YouTube influencers. Anyways, I did a video talking about that and essentially saying both of them are wrong. Both of them have some things that they're right about, and that's true, but that the real deal here, if they want to actually help drivers, okay, is no value, no trip. If you're not preaching that, you're not helping a driver. You're not somebody who has any interest in helping a driver make money. And if that's lost on you, if that's not something that you think is relevant, well, then you're probably not going to make money in the long run, because that is the only way you're going to make money is by taking orders of value. So, watch that video. I go over, the whole no value, no trip, what it is, why that is, should be the theme of 2023. I also go over and talk to you in another video about the fact that DoorDash itself, and so do all the gig apps, make it clear that you are allowed to decline, you're allowed to accept decline orders, and they encourage you to accept decline orders based on what you believe is profitable for your business. They even tell you you're a little small business, a little minute small business person, and you're out here making decisions for yourself and making money for yourself, and that you should be making decisions that make you money. And then this video is going to tie that in to say this. If these apps, what we need to be asking, and this is going to be controversial, because this is going to eliminate a whole lot of people's perspective. If we really want to get down to the crux of it, if we really want to get paid properly, if we really want to force the apps to actually pay us enough money to actually have orders of value for us, the driver, and do it the right way and get things in the right position and framing, then we need to eliminate tips being shown altogether to the driver up front. There should be no upfront showing of tips, period. The only reason why, look, when Uber first came out, okay, you may not remember this, but if you go way, way back, when Uber first started, Lyft first started, tips were never shown. Tips weren't even available. You didn't get tips. Drivers didn't get tips. Not in the app, at least. You could tip the driver money, right? Cash if you had it. But, that was a low probability, because the individual that's using the app probably wasn't somebody who had a lot of cash on them anyways. So they were paid solely by the app based on what the customer paid the app, and then tips one day got entered. Drivers were advocating for tips, and then they got entered, into the effect. And now tips are becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger portions of pay, because companies like DoorDash saw the opportunity to be able to say, let's confiscate all of the money intended for the driver, and then leave them just working on tips. And that's DoorDash's, goal, is to have as little money go into the driver's base pay, and say, okay, again, as I said in a previous video, driver pay is optional in DoorDash's eyes, Grubhub's eyes, well, Grubhub does a little bit better, but in Uber's eyes and all, in their eyes, they would prefer to have a majority, 80 to 90% of your pay, be optional to the customer, making their pay, the pay they're getting compensated from the restaurant and the customer, fully required in order for that order to be fulfilled. The driver is the only one that has optional pay involved in the equation. The restaurant's pay isn't. It's not like the customer gets to decide how much they're going to pay the restaurant. No, restaurant gets 100% of their money. DoorDash gets 100% of their money. The driver has 80% of the money that they're going to make optional. They may get it, they may not. The only way to solve that problem is you eliminate the gratuity. The gratuity doesn't factor into the decision-making of the driver on whether they accept or decline that order. The driver is shown what the pay will be. The gratuity is shown to you an hour later, just like Uber does, or Uber Eats does. I'm not sure I've never driven on the rideshare side, so I don't know if tips show up an hour later or how that works, but I assume it's the same. If we did that, if that occurred, every driver would be required to make a decision on whether or not that fare amount covers their miles, their time, and their labor, and they would have to decide, is that enough, valuable enough offer for me to hit accept? If it isn't, you're going to decline it. Tip or no tip, it doesn't matter, because the apps would be required to ask for upfront money from the customer to make sure that they have a valuable enough offer. Suddenly, I think what you would start to see is you'd start to see real math being done. Hey, I want to make $25 an hour. Okay, so what do I need my pay to be? $8.50, $9. If I'm going to do 3 orders an hour, $9. Here it is. This is a $9 offer. This is a $5 offer. I can get it done in X amount of minutes. Everything would start to come together for the driver. And then an hour or two later, lo and behold, this customer wants to leave you a $5, $3, an $8 tip, whatever they can afford. And if they don't tip you at all, it doesn't really matter, because you still got enough upfront fare paid by the customer to you, to your pocket, to cover your expenses, to cover your cost. And the gratuity is what it's supposed to be. A gratuity, a thank you, something you did up front. You came to my house and you did this, and hey, I'll leave you a couple extra bucks. Okay? It's not the entirety of your pay. It's not 80% of your pay. That's not how it's supposed to work when you're doing delivery work. And you may disagree with that, but probably you're coming from a different sector. You're coming from being a waitress, or a waiter. And if you're in that area, you don't have expenses to cover. They don't have any expense. You show up to work, you're there in the restaurant working. There's no expenses to be covered. Okay? There's just simply, hey, here's a small, again, and there's a lot of debate around what should happen in the restaurant industry. Restaurants make a lot of money off of the fact that they don't have to pay a true wage to a waiter or waitress. And that's for another video at another time, and it's something I'm not even getting involved in. But I'm just telling you guys, this is what needs to happen. So it's a 3-pronged thing. Go back and watch that video if you haven't. I'm going to link it. Watch my video on what you're allowed to do, and then watch this video. And if you're talking to people about what needs to happen in this right now in 2023 to help drivers, this is what it is. And this is what we should be calling the DoorDash and saying, listen, get rid of the tips. We don't want to see tips. Pay us our due. All right, guys, hit that like, share, subscribe button. As always, stay safe, stay proud.